Welcome to everyone today. Last stream. Today we are looking on 19 September 2025. The biggest question on everyone's mind right now is very simple. Will Bitcoin finally break above physiological 120 mark? As you can see in the screen, it's 120k mark, or maybe we can see another pullback before next leg up. Over the last few sessions, the Bitcoin have been hovering around 16k, 116k to 117k zone, showing some strong bullish momentum. This comes optimizing around US interest rates, ETF inflows, and better than expected economic data. Today, we'll break down the level you need to watch, the resistance zone, the support, and what scenarios might play out next. Let's talk about the price action first right now. The Bitcoin is consolidating just above 117k level. This has become a very important support zone. And if bulls manage to hold above 16k, then path towards 120k open up. The first resistance on the upside is around 120k to 121k. That's a strong zone where we may see a strong selling pressure comes in. Historically, whenever the Bitcoin hits around physiological numbers like 100k or 120k, the traders tend to take a profit. But if the volumes picks up, Bitcoin clearly gonna hit 121k with the conviction, and next target will be 125. So in this video, I'm going to talk about more price prediction of the Bitcoin. So what happens if bulls really take control? If Bitcoin close daily candle above, we're likely heading towards 125k. From there, the momentum could escalate toward 130k. But this upside scenario depends heavily on ETF inflows continuing and on broader market sentiment and staying positive. Lots of international players are entering at this level, which adds a confidence that this is a rally has leg. On shorter time frame, the traders are watching moving average and volume spike. The traders are watching moving average, the volume spike as a signal for the breakout, I will say. But if you sudden a green candle with a strong volume above 121, that's a sign that bulls are in control. But let's talk about the bearish cases. If Bitcoin fails to break above 120k this week, we may see a rejections and a pullback. The first level of support is around 115k. That's a crucial area because if the Bitcoin slips below it, we might touch 114k. And if that fails, the next big support is between 108k to 110k. Keep it in mind, this could mean a bull run is over. It could simply mean a Bitcoin needs to cool off before another attempt higher. Corrections are natural, often healthy, a long-term uptrend. Now let's zoom out and think about the fundamental driving the big factor of US economic. rate cuts are expected later this year, which means cheaper money and more liquidity in the market. This usually benefit the risk asset like crypto. Then we have a ETF approval, which are bringing a huge inflows into Bitcoin. On the top of that, there's a geopolitical uncertainty, and a Bitcoin is being treated more and more like a digital gold, a safe haven asset. All of these fundamentals are creating a bullish backdrop. Even we see the short-term dips. So, since you may also watch other coins, let's take a quick look upon Ethereum is holding above $3,400 with resistance near $3,600. If Bitcoin breaks out, the Ethereum could easily push towards $3,800, guys. And SRP in the spotlight with the going regulatory development is trading around 0.72 cent. And if positive news hits, we could see a move towards 0.85 cent. And Solana is the consolidating near 150 dollars, and the momentum is building toward running towards $170. These altcoins are likely to follow Bitcoin lead. So keep eye on a BTS further. So the meaning what I'm trying to say, if the Bitcoin goes up, the coin like Ethereum, the XRP, and Solana, the other altcoin will also go up. So now, how can traders and investors like you and me can make a profit from this year? If you're a short-term trader, the key zone watch is 116K for Bitcoin, support level I will say, and 120 at the resistance. Break below support and look for the entries around 114K, and with a tight tops loss, break above resistance. Ride the move to 125K for long-term holder. This is simply another stage of Bitcoin journey. The important thing is the dollar cost averaging. Holding to volatility. If you believe in 150K and 200K long-term target being discussed for the Bitcoin, you think, then these dips are opportunity, not a threat. So let's recap, guys. In 19 September today, support zone is 115K to 116K. The resistance zone is 120K to 121.5K for the Bitcoin. The bullish breakout might go up to 125K, then 130K. And a bearish pullback might go down Bitcoin 114K, possibly to 110K. The fundamental remain bullish, but trader should watch volume closely at 120K level. Now I love to hear the thoughts in the chat. Do you think the Bitcoin can hit 120K in this week? We will see a rejection first. That's a question mark. Type yes if you think this is gonna break out. So over the past few days, there has been a bullish momentum for the Bitcoin, largely driven by hopes of US interest rate cuts and strong ETF inflows and closing of strong future gaps. If the I expect Bitcoin to set test a resistance in the 120k to 121k, and that will be the key breakout zone. If it holds above 16k to 17k, then bulls can push towards a resistance on the upside, and a clean move above 121k might lead run toward 125k for the Bitcoin price. So on the downside, if the strength, if the buying strength weaken or a micro news, the rate Fed regulations turning around turn negative, that the support level can go down. The Bitcoin price go down to 114k to 15k. Below that, a major next support is closer to 108, or maybe it can go down to 110 also. For 19 September, my prediction, the Bitcoin grind towards 120. Okay, like testing resistance, but possibly seeing a rejection unless the volume picks up strongly. If 120k is not broken, and expect some pullbacks towards 114k. So we are looking at a Bitcoin in the 19 September 2025. The big question on everyone's mind right now is simple. Will Bitcoin break above the physiological 120 mark, or will we see another pullback before the next leg up? Over the last few sessions, the Bitcoin has been hovering around 116k to 117k zone, showing some strong bullish momentum. This comes after optimizing around US interest rate cuts, the ETF inflows, and better than expected economic data. Today, we're going to break down the level you need to watch, the resistance zones and support, and what scenarios might play out next. Let's talk about the price action first right now. The Bitcoin is consolidating just above 17k level. This has become very important support zone. If bulls manage to hold above 16k, 116k, then a path towards 120k opens up. The first resistance on the upside is around 120k to 121k. That's a zone where Bitcoin may see a strong selling pressure coming in. Historical, the Bitcoin hits around physiological number like 100k or 120k, trader tend to take profit. But if volume picks up, the Bitcoin clearly gonna go 122k with conviction, and next target is around 125k. So what happens if the bulls really takes control, my friends? If the Bitcoin closes the daily candles above 121k, we're likely to heading toward 125 for sure. From there, the momentum could accelerate toward 130k also, and mutual I think it will. The upside scenario depends heavily on ETF inflows continuing on the broader market sentiment and staying positive. Institutional players are entering at this level, which adds a confidence that this rally has legs. On shorter time frame, the traders are watching a moving averages and volume spike as a signal for breakout. If you see a sudden green candles with a strong volume above 121k, that's your sign that bulls are in control. Let's also talk about the bearish cases. If Bitcoin fails, what happens? If Bitcoin fails to break above 121k this week, we may see rejections and a pullback. The first level of support for the Bitcoin is 115k. That's a crucial area because if Bitcoin slips below it, we might touch 114k the Bitcoin price, and it that fails. The next big support, the Bitcoin might go down up to 108k to 110k. Keep in mind that could mean that bull run is over. It could simply mean Bitcoin needs to cool off before another attempt higher. The corrections are natural and often healthy and long-term uptrend. So let's zoom out and think about a fundamental driving this move. The one big factor in the US economic is the rate cuts are expected lately this year, which means a cheaper money and more liquidity in the market. That usually benefit the risk asset like crypto. Then we have a ETF approval, which brings a huge inflow into the Bitcoin. On top of that, there's geopolitical uncertainty. Bitcoin is being treated more and more like digital gold, a safe haven asset. All of these fundamentals are creating a bullish backdrop, even if we see a short-term dips. Since many of you also watch other coins, let's take a quick look. The Ethereum is still holding above 3,400 with resistance near $3,600. If Bitcoin breaks out, the Ethereum could easily push forward toward $3,800. And my favorite coin SRP remains in the spotlight with ongoing regulatory development. It's trading around 0.72 cent, and if the positive news hits, we could see a move towards 85 cent. The Solana is consolidating near $155 and momentum is building for a run toward $170. These altcoins are likely to follow Bitcoin leads. So keep an eye on Bitcoin first. As you know, guys, when Bitcoin goes up, other coins price also goes up. So now how can a trader and an investor like you and me can make a profit from this? So if you are a short-term trader, a key zone watch is 116K for the Bitcoin support and 120K resistance. Break below support. I will say look for the entries around 114K with a tight top loss. Break above resistance. Ride the move to 125K. For the long-term holders, look, I'm the long-term holders. This is simply another stage in the Bitcoin journey, I will say. The important thing is the dollar cost averaging and holding to volatility. If you believe that the Bitcoin could go 150K to 200 for long, which I think the term target being is discussed, then this dips are opportunity, not a threat. So let's recap on the 19th December, my prediction for the Bitcoin. Support zone 115K to 116K. The resistance zone is the 120K to 121.5K. The bullish breakout target is 125K, then 130K. And bearish pullback target 114K. Possibly it can go down 110K as well. The fundamental remains bullish today, but traders should watch the volume closely at 120K level. Now I love to hear your thoughts in the chat. And after a few minutes, I'm gonna analyze the chart, the live chart. Sorry. I will say now you can have a look on the chart because I'm gonna analyze the chart. And I will tell you how you can make a profit right now. Right now. Okay. Alright guys, let's break down what's happening in the chart right now. And you can see Bitcoin. is trading on. You can see the Bitcoin. The trading is around 116k and moving in very tight range. We have stronger short-term support near 116k, as you can see, 116k $76 and resistance near 117.360. What does that mean for the trader like you and me? If the Bitcoin bounce, have a look on the screen. If the Bitcoin bounce from the support around 116k $760, the short-term trader can consider a long positioning with the profit taking near 117k to the 117k $300 to 117k $400. That's huge scalp opportunity. If Bitcoin breaks below 116k $700, we could see a push toward 116k $500 or even 116k $200. That's where you might look for the quick short trade. You can have a look on the chart. For the swing traders, a big picture is clear. Bulls wants to break 120k. Okay, so I'm gonna take my rest. So let's have a quickly look on chart. With the price now, the Bitcoin is trading around 616K range. So if I want to analyze the chart, what it says very clearly, if you can see the chart, if you can see the Bitcoin trading around 116K, $860, $860, moving very tight. We have a strong short-term support near 116K, $760, and resistance near 117K, $360. What does that mean for the traders like you and me? If the Bitcoin bounce from the support around 116K, $760, the short-term trader can consider long positioning with the profit is near 117K, $300 to the 117K, $400. That's quickly scalp opportunity. But if the Bitcoin breaks below 116K, $700, we could see a push towards 116K, $400, or even it can go down 116K, $200. That's where you might look for the quick short trade. For the swing trader, there are some of the swing traders are there in the market. The big picture is clear. The bulls wants to break 120K uh, Bitcoin price before the September ends. That's a key physiological level everyone is watching. If the Bitcoin closes above 120K before September, we open the door even to 122K to 125K in the next leg in October month. That's where the bigger profits comes in by holding a positioning from the current level with the stop losses just below 115K. For the investor, the strategy is simple, friends. Use this dip under 117K to accumulate. If your horizon is month or year, even a correction is an opportunity. Just remember the dollar's cost averaging. Never go all in at once. Quick recap. The scale up is trading at 116K, $760. And the swinging trade is 120K to breakout run is the 125K. The investor buy the dip under 117K and hold for the long term upside. As always, remember manage your risk. Use the stop loss. So, and I think my friends, we are looking at the Bitcoin in 19 September 2025. The big question is everyone's mind right now is simple. Will Bitcoin finally break above physiological 120 mark? Or we will see another pullback before the next leg of October. Over the last few sessions, the Bitcoin has been moving, hovering around 116K to 117K zone, showing some strong bullish momentum. This comes after optimizing around US interest rate cuts, the ETF inflows, and better than expected economic data. Today, we're going to break down the levels you need to watch, the resistance zones, the support zone, what scenarios might play out next. Let's talk about the price action right now. The Bitcoin is consolidating just above 117K level. This has become very important support zone. If bulls manage to hold above 116K, then path to 120K opens up. The first resistance on the upside is around 120K to 125K. That's zone where we will see strong selling pressure coming. And historically, whenever the Bitcoin hits around physiological number 100K or 120K, trader tend to make take a profit. But if the volume picks up and Bitcoin clearly, if you see Bitcoin clearly 121K with conviction, next target is around 125K. So what happens is a bull's run takes control. If Bitcoin closes the daily candle above 121K, we are likely heading toward 125K. And from there, the momentum could accelerate towards 130K before the October, before the November, I will say. This upside scenario depends heavily on ETF inflows continuing. and on the broader market sentiment staying positive. A lots of institutional players are entering at this level, which adds a confidence that this rally has legs. On shorter time frame, the traders are watching moving average and volume spikes as a signal for breakout. If you see a sudden green candle with a strong volume above 121k, that's your sign that the bulls are in control. But let's talk about the bearish cases also because price may go down also. If the Bitcoin fails to break 120k this week, we may see a rejections and a pullbacks. The first level of support is around 115k. That's a crucial area because the Bitcoin slips below it, we might touch 114k. And if that fails, the next big support is between 108 to 110k. Keep it in mind, this could mean a bull run is over. It could simply mean a Bitcoin needs to cool off before another attempt higher. Corrections are natural and often healthy in the long-term uptrend. Now let's zoom out and think about a fundamental driving this move. If Bitcoin price go up or Bitcoin price go down, there are a few fundamental I want you to know. The big factor in the US economic rates cuts are expected later this year, which means cheaper money, friends, and more liquidity in the market. That's usually a benefit risk asset like crypto. Then we have a ETF approval which is bringing huge inflows into Bitcoin. The on on the top of that, there's a geopolitical uncertainty, and Bitcoin is being treated more and more like digital gold. As if heaven has said, all of this fundamental are creating a bullish breakout. Even you see a short-term dips. Since many of you also watch another coin, let's take a quick look. Ethereum is still holding above 3,400 with resistance near 3,600. If Bitcoin breaks out, Ethereum could easily push toward 3,800. SRP remains in the spotlight with ongoing regulatory development. It's trading near 0.72k. If positive hit news hit, we could see move towards 85 cent. Solana is consolidating near 155, which can go up if the Bitcoin price go. Solana can go up to $170. These altcoins are always like that. When the Bitcoin goes up, they also go. The price of other altcoins always go up.